Yep.
Yep, indeed. What?
Laughing in chat room. Nothing better than logging in to watch it.
That was weird. You went all robot-y again. I think my mixer might be dying on me.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, shit, you sound like fucking garbage. What the shit? Hold on a sec.
I am a robot.
You are better now.
Oh. Jossbot reporting for duty. Indeed.
Could you keep talking?
I am talking. Talking.
Better now. Better now. Better now. Okay. Hopefully it stays that way.
So can you hear it, or is it just like to the stream it sucks?
I can hear it.
Oh, you can hear me being robot-y.
Yeah.
Sad face.
Oh, I wouldn't know if it was just the...
Yeah, fair enough. I don't know why. I am like 3 sips into my coffee, Garrett. Cut me some slack.
Me too, but clearly my logic filter is functioning better than yours today. Well, Jocelyn, if it was just a stream and no one was sitting, push my glasses up so hard that I look like a nerd. Nerd. The hell was I doing?
I don't know. Hi, chat room. Hi, everybody.
Hi, guys.
Welcome.
How are you? All right. Cool. Just don't you start that shit.
I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry.
Start that shit.
I'm sorry.
I'll end you. I will end you. Now I remember what I was doing.
Blame Bethesda.
Bethesda is never worth staying up for. That's your fault.
Yeah.
Now I remember what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna add another caller to the thing because the group call thing is a thing and it's stupid and issues. Skype is dumb. You're gonna hear a loop for a second. I promise. I'll get rid of it. All right. Should be fixed. There we go.
Now everyone knows that almost every message I send you has a smiley face in it.
Pretty much. And all of my messages include the equal size sign and a capital P. I am a fan of the tongue sticking out old emoji, and I am in the camp of use an equal sign as opposed to a colon as eyeballs.
Weird.
That's the camp I fall into. I like longer faces. The colons, they're like these. They look like little squash, noseless monstrosities. They bother me. All right, let's do this thing, shall we?
Sounds good.
You good to go?
Yeah, I guess so.
Cool. New episode of For Azeroth with a very, very awake, very ready to go Jocelyn Moffett. Records live in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody, to For Azeroth, where I am proving my love for the Faz community because the Heroes of the Storm mid-season brawl is happening right now. But I'm here to talk Warcraft with you, Jocelyn. How are you doing?
I'm good. I didn't realize that you were giving up Heroes time.
oh yes. Yes, I am. Yes,
so is this like the brawl with the blues thing, or
no,
is this
geez,
like...
I wouldn't be giving a crap about that if we had to do a Warcraft show. They haven't done that in a while, actually. Are they even still doing that? I don't think they are.
I don't know.
No, it's the first international tournament of the year. It's the top teams from every region throwing down for a $250,000 prize pool.
That's really cool.
And America's getting its ass kicked. We're not doing well.
That's amazing. Does Canada even have a team?
I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
At least our Hearthstone team is doing well. That's all that matters.
I'm just I show up to root for Europe and Korea because rooting for NA is a fool's errand. But anyways, yeah, we're here to do For Azeroth, our weekly show about Warcraft. And Jocelyn, I got in today. I did my dailies. I've been doing my dailies on a regular basis. I am one freaking Broken Shore daily away from flying, and I want to break my screen in half. I finished them all, I'm like finishing them, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm getting real close. And I finished the last one, and it's not close enough, and I don't have enough war supplies to hand into whatever stupid building that I don't care about. It's giving me rep, and yeah. So I'm a little tilted. I was really hoping for...
Well, you should be able to log back in a few hours.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, resets at... what time does it reset for us here on the East Coast?
I want to say 11.
Well, it's
like
already...
11 a.m., 11 p.m., but then sometimes there's other ones that like spawn like halfway through that reset period. I don't know.
Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Yep.
Need to get that flying.
So yeah, you should be able to log in sometime today and get your flying, so that's good.
Very cool. Very cool. I wanted to get it done because tomorrow we're getting a bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah, and I've got to say, like, I felt like it was a big grind to get flying, but then I just kind of kept doing stuff to like get artifact power and sending my followers on missions and going for the Legion Fall currency and turning that stuff in, and I wasn't even tracking my rep or anything, and then all of a sudden I just like did a turn in and it was like, ding, you're exalted, and I was like, what? Really?
Nice.
I was like, why did it feel like such a grind to revered, but then like the grind that's like huge was nothing.
Because you weren't going for anything.
Well, yeah, because I guess I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't going for anything. I didn't want it for any reason. So.
Did anything cool happen when you got to Exalted? Did you unlock anything sweet? No? Right. That's why it didn't feel like a grind.
I got the tabard.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
I'm so riveted by the tabard. I think the only time in my life I've been motivated by a tabard was getting the Blood Knight tabard on my paladin. That was it. The only tabard I really...
Like, I used to like getting tabards when you could wear a tabard and it did something. But now that they're just like a shirt.
Okay, now hold on a second. I'm going to throw down again because Jocelyn is so new to this freaking game. Back in my day, Jocelyn, there wasn't cool like dimensional armor for your chest and your legs. They all look like tights with painted on plates that you just slapped over your body, and it didn't look that great, and it didn't change anything. So tabards were this cool thing in vanilla that you could put on, and it added this thing in between your legs, which sounds dirty, but it's not. And it had an animation to it, and it differentiated you from the pack. For at least people like me who are really into the paper doll aspect of World of Warcraft, tabards were a big deal for me. But yeah,
right,
I think
so that tabards would have been like pre-transmog, like cool looking armor, pre-everything. They were the cool thing.
That was the whole reason I joined the guild the very first time. I just wanted the tabard, man. I didn't care about the guild. I just wanted the tabard. If you had a dumb looking tabard, I wasn't interested in your guild. But yeah, Burning Crusade. That was the last time I gave a flip about tabards. Had to get my Scryer's tabard. Had to get my Blood Knight tabard because it looked cool. And
I don't think I have the Blood Knight one. I have the Scryer's, and now I'm trying to work my way. Like when I have absolutely nothing else to do, I'm trying to work my way out of the Scryer rep into the Aldor rep. Because there's an achievement for getting exalted with both, and I'm like, this is the worst thing I've ever decided to do.
You were getting that lovely issue that we had on TAC the other day, so let me nuke Skype real fast.
Oh, okay.
One sec. Any better?
I don't know. Any better?
Nope, not at all.
Update?
I'm not even sure I can hear you anymore.
Oh, talking.
There you are.
Okay.
All right. So far, you sound okay. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Let me see if I can find an update for old Skype, because every time I go to updates, it's prompting me to get new Skype, so...
I don't think it's you. I think it's me.
Oh, okay.
Which is concerning me. because that means hardware issues, which means 2 days to fix it tops, because I might need to order a new mixer. But let's just try and keep powering through.
Okay.
What were we talking about?
We were talking about tabards, and we were talking about Burning Crusade, and we were talking about me grinding from Scryer Exalted to Aldor Exalted, which is awful.
It is awful. It is very awful, but I remember doing it because, again, and I can't even tell you why. For whatever reason, I really like the Scryer's Tabard. I thought it was cool back in the day. I still think it's cool. And that was one of the first, like, ridiculous grinds I ever did. I still haven't gone back to Outland and gotten my my Nether Drakes, but I have that damn Scryer's Tabard.
I have all my Nether Drakes too, but yeah, I mean, like, I don't usually do crazy rep grinds unless there's like something on the other end of it that's motivating for me. So mounts or achievements will do it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm not motivated by achievements unless there's something else with it, like a mount, but or a cool title of some sort.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think, and I might be totally wrong, but I think that there's a title associated with it. I might be totally wrong. Because the Aldor and the Scryers are like, when you gain rep with one, you get hated with the other.
Right.
So yeah, like you have to basically get all the way up to Exalted with the Scryers, which then makes you like as hated as you can possibly be with the Aldor. Then you have to like farm spiders and get venom that they like turn into this like medicine or something. And you have to, so farming the spiders that don't always drop the venom, then you have to turn them in for like, I think you have to turn in 10 at a time for something like 50 rep, which means you have to kill and loot like 4,000 vials of venom from these spiders, and there's like 15 of them right outside the city. So it's the most grindy of all grindy things to get enough rep to actually start to unlock the Aldor quest lines. It's like, man, why am I doing this?
Yeah, it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough.
Yep.
But there's a new title coming to the game tomorrow that I have to get.
There is.
Yeah, so we're getting 7.2.5, and with that is a new scenario that's repeatable, where we go and help Chromie avoid many of her potential deaths, I guess.
So, did you watch the Q&A this past week?
No.
Okay, because what they did was they showed like the first like 10 minutes or so of the scenario. So
glad I avoided it. Don't want to see that.
Oh, okay. How much do you want me to tell you?
Well, I've already done my research in terms of how it's gamified, but I haven't watched any videos on the actual experience.
Right. Okay. So basically what it is it's a solo scenario, and all of your like gear and level scales to 112. And then, so you don't have to worry about like gear going in. So it's not quite the same as the solo scenarios with the mage tower that were stupid, ridiculously hard.
Well, yeah, that, and even the old Withered Army training. I mean, like having good gear helped you there too. But yeah, your level doesn't even matter here. It'll modify your level, of modify your gear. Yes.
So you go into the scenario, and you essentially, after completing a few like intro quests that show you what's going on, which is basically someone is trying to assassinate Chromie. Mm-hmm. So after seeing like getting the story set up, then you kind of get leads from different sources, and then you go and follow those leads. And the scenario plays out over 15 minutes, and if you don't complete the scenario in 15 minutes, Chromie dies. So then you go back in and you reset, and you basically have to solve puzzles, defeat bosses, and like learn the pattern of the scenario in order to save Chromie. So it's going to take like many, 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 many times to actually go in and defeat this scenario. It's not a like one and done, just overpower everything and win kind of a thing. So
yeah, that's the vibe I got from researching kind of like the mechanics of it. It's kind of seems like there's branching paths and, like you said, patterns to learn. And all the while we're basically grinding rep with Chromie. So we're basically grinding friendship with Chromie, which is wonderful.
And so that's kind of the only thing that's gated in any way, because you can do this scenario as many times as you want. There's no currency attached to it, which is really cool. There's no time gating or anything else. The only thing that is kind of gated is this reputation that you're getting with Chromie. And basically she's got a talent tree the same way that like your order hall has a talent tree, so you can choose like one of two options along a bunch of different rep levels. And those sometimes take like a couple, I think the first 2 or 3 are like instant, and then they take a couple of hours, and I think the longest one takes 16 hours or something like that. So it's not even gated to the point that a lot of our order hall stuff was gated by weeks at a time. So it's actually really cool because you can complete the scenario without her having any of her talents, but it gets easier with each talent of Chromie's that you acquire. So
right, so basically you're gonna have a better chance of getting like a perfect run the more of these talents you accrue.
Right. But if you're a really good puzzle solver and you know your class really well and you can get through encounters with boss type enemies quickly and efficiently, then you might be able to do it without all of Chromie's talents.
Love it. Love it. I'm actually really excited about this, and I love Chromie. So if there's something if there's repeatable content, I'm gonna have to go do outside of a raid. By the way, I love doing raids over and over again. I got no problem there. I'm glad it's with Chromie. Also,
well, and sorry,
the title, man, you get Time Lord as a title when you max out your Chromie rep, and I have to have this. I have to have this, Jocelyn.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure, because I thought, is that for maxing out your rep with her, or is that for saving her?
I thought that was for hitting as high as you can go with.
It very well could be. I'm not sure. I don't really know what the rewards for this are, because I feel like, and this is the total opposite to my experience with micro holidays, but I feel like this content and this experience is so cool that I don't even really care what the reward is on the other end. Like, I just want to like do it to say that I did it, that I made it through and saved Chromie.
Yeah, Time Lord is awarded from the Chromie Homie achievement, which is reaching Time Lord friendship rank with Chromie, which I believe is the highest friendship rank.
Nice. It would be weird if there was another friendship rank above Time Lord. It's like, you are Time Lord. Oh, now you're besties.
Well, at that point, and I know you're not a Doctor Who fan, but it would just be the Doctor would be your title.
So it looked really cool in what they showed in the actual Q&A, because like I said, they played through about the first 10 minutes or so, and it really does seem like you can choose like which leads to follow, which way to go, and like I'm sure there's going to be guides and all kinds of stuff telling you what the best path to take is. But even though it's repeatable, at least for the first few times, you're not going to be repeating the same stuff, because there just simply isn't enough time in the scenario for you to follow every lead every time. So I think what you're going to have to do, and again, they didn't do much spoiler stuff. It was very much just the very beginning. But I think what you're going to have to do is like play through all of like one branch and then reset, and then all of the second branch and reset, and all of the third branch, and then be like, okay, here's the like shortcut ways for me to make this faster. Like, I now know what's going on in this one location, so I'm going to skip straight to the boss of that location, sort of thing, instead of like having to unlock all the like little clues all the way through that lead to the boss. You could just go, okay, I know who the boss is, I know how to defeat it, let's go. So and the one fight that they actually showed was kind of like against a mini boss kind of a character. And definitely not the end of that kind of lead, that set of 15 minutes or so. And there were seriously punishing mechanics. Like Lore even said when he was playing through for the demo, he was like, yeah, we actually pre-recorded this part because I died so much. And so I was like, all right, cool. So it's actually it's challenging. And it was like he put like puddles on the floor. You had to do interrupts. Like, it was very much a kind of mini boss battle. So it wasn't just like, okay, pew, 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 I'm going to kill him like as fast as I can. He's not actually really damaging me. It was like, no, it's actually, you have to do mechanics. You have to move. You have to interrupt. So I'm really excited for this content, and it's probably going to be the first thing that I do when the patch launches tomorrow.
Awesome. That's badass. The other thing coming in is Black Temple Timewalking. So that's going to be live tomorrow? Or it's coming with this patch
No.
and it'll go live at a later date, like every time they announce Timewalking, and I'm confused and disappointed.
Exactly. You are going to be confused and disappointed.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Black Temple Timewalking is actually part of the Burning Crusade Timewalking Week. So what you're going to be able to do is you can actually, it's not like LFR, it's not like Group Finder, it doesn't automatically fill in your group. Basically, you can go in with any size raid, which is awesome. And you can say, like, basically you go to the Timewalking vendor in Shatrath as the leader of your raid group, and then you just say, we want to go to the Black Temple, because if you actually walk through the door, it takes you to like the old Burning Crusade instance, and you want the Timewalking instance.
Right, otherwise you'll just raffle stomp, and you also won't get the appropriate item level gear and all that kind of jazz.
Exactly. So yeah, you go in, you talk to the Timewalking vendor, and then she'll port you into the Black Temple Timewalking instance. So that's really cool because it means that you can actually do it with your existing raid group regardless of size. So you're not stuck to a certain amount. It's not going to fill your group with other people. So you can really go in and try to tackle it as a raid group. They said the difficulty level is on the easy side of normal. So not quite as easy as LFR, but not too punishing because it's not something that you can redo like week over week. Like you literally have one week and then it goes away. So they wanted to preserve the mechanics of the Black Temple as much as possible outside of things like, I think from one boss you had to have like shadow resist gear. So they're like, if it's a mechanic that's been removed from the game totally, then he's like, it's not still going to be in Black Temple. But they tried to keep the bosses as close to the original experience as possible. So it's kind of normal-ish difficulty, but you should, with a coordinated raid group, be able to make it through through the course of the week, hopefully.
That makes me happy, because when Naxxramas inevitably becomes a time-walking raid, I don't want to have to worry about frost resist when I go to fight Sapphiron.
Exactly. So yeah, you won't have to do mechanics that are out of the game now. But it should still be very close to the original raiding experience.
I'm very excited about this. This was something I only did like half of this raid at level, so I want to go do this with you guys. Let's bring on Burning Crusade Timewalking Week. Which sadly is not tomorrow.
I think it's 3 or 4 weeks from now. So we're actually going to end up with Tomb of Sargeras for a couple weeks before Black Temple time. But
what fantastically awful timing.
Yeah.
Because why give us a raid when there's no raid to really do right now? All right, cool. Not salty at all.
No.
New pet battle dungeon. I will ask if you're excited for this, because this is not a thing I do.
No, it's not a thing I do either, but I thought it was worth mentioning because apparently the first pet battle dungeon that came in, was it 715? Must have been successful because they made another one. So you pet battlers out there, Dead Mines is going to be available to you. Thumbs up.
Awesome.
Although there was like rumors and stuff, and I can't remember if we talked about it on the show or not, about WoW developing a mobile game. So not the Armory, not any of the Legion stuff, the companion app, like an actual game based on some rumors and job posts and all the rest of it. So maybe pet battling will be a thing that I get into once they put it on my phone. Because if they put pet battling on my phone, oh my god, I'm going to do it all the time. Because really the whole like traveling around Azeroth is the thing that just makes it a pain in the ass, and I don't do.
The fact that if I'm in WoW, there's just other things I'd rather do is the thing that makes me not do it. So if I can play it on my phone, yeah, I'll definitely check that out. But again, rumors, scuttlebutt, who knows?
Yeah, cross your fingers.
Cross your adorable little fuzzy fingers. All the pets out there. All your toes. Which if you're on all fours, that's many toes. So there you go. Heirloom upgrades. We're finally going to be able to upgrade our heirlooms to 110.
Dude, you totally skipped over the Trial of Style.
Oh, it's a mini holiday. Who cares?
It's not a mini holiday, though.
It is a mini holiday.
No, it's not. They specifically said that it's not a micro holiday.
Okay, so do I get something from it?
Yeah, and so you actually get rewarded with pieces of transmog gear. And you basically what you do is you go into an instance with, I believe, 5 other players, and then you get 2 minutes to put your transmog together, which you can do a little bit easier now because you're going to be able to like build outfits ahead of time in like a dressing room. You can change like all of your stuff, your appearance, your hair color, all that stuff. It's all free. All the transmog stuff is free, so you don't have to worry about like the cost associated with Trial of Style. And then you go into the instance with these other people. They put like 2 people on stage. Everyone in the instance votes for who they like better in terms of transmog. There's 16 different themes of transmog. So it could be anything from freestyle to like summer wear to, you know, like faction specific stuff. So there's like for the Horde sort of a theme. So you go in, you dress based on the theme, and then everybody votes. And then at the end of it, depending on how you finish, you get rewards based on how you finish. And they said that they want to do it more often than, because the micro holidays are annual, and they wanted to do it more often than that. So it's not a micro holiday, plus it has rewards. And people are speculating because on the PTR, the token was like the transmog weekly token. So people are actually saying it like it might actually be one of the weeks, like time walking and arenas and battlegrounds and everything rotate every week. Trial of Style might actually go into that rotation.
Huh. Okay. All right. See, because I did go and read about this, and everything made it sound like a micro holiday.
Well, I think that's the way it was originally conceived, but they talked about it a lot in the Q&A on Thursday. So in the Q&A, they said, no, we're not doing it as a micro holiday specifically because we want to do it more often than annually. So,
what they didn't say is
they want rewards.
I was about to say, what they didn't say is they want people to actually care.
Yeah.
And participate. So, all right, cool. Well, then that has me interested, because I was reading up and I'm like, oh, this sounds like interesting mechanics. Shame it's a micro holiday, but if there's rewards and it's happening more often and a chance of them tying it into the weekly quest, consider me interested.
Yes.
But still not as interested as I am in heirloom upgrades, because I haven't wanted to work on alts. But damn it, I'm just so sick of the leveling in Legion that I want it to be faster. So huzzah, 110 heirlooms.
Have you tried leveling through invasions yet?
No.
Because that's something that I tried last week, and I actually got 3 characters through 1 invasion, and I got about 1 level per character. So you actually do just like the world quests, like you don't get the whole scenario and everything else. All you get is like you get access to the world quests. They're worth a lot of experience. And so I ended up, by the end of it, it took somewhere, depending on my character, between like 45 minutes to an hour.
So
the lower level my character was, the more punishing it was. So I had to kind of wait for other people, which contributed to the length of time it took me to complete the world quest. But with flying, oh, dude, it's so good and it's so fast.
Well, that's part of the reason I haven't even bothered trying to mess with my ults yet, because I'm gonna knock out that flying before I even attempt.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's so good now to be flying with alts, because I'm just like, I don't care. Like, I've seen the world. I've done this already on the ground 3 times. Like, I'm ready to just get my characters up to max level. So yeah, like I said, I got about 1 level per character per invasion. So if you did, 10 invasions, you'd have a max level character. So, I mean, all the world quests are fairly similar, right? It's like the Legion has taken over a section of a zone. Go kill the demons. Go kill the one big target, or cleanse the fel. They're all pretty much the same, but yeah. But yeah, it's easy grinding for sure. But yeah, like I said, my 105 Shadow Priest was the easiest. I was able to pull 3 or 4 characters without actually dying. But my Druid and my Shaman are 101 and 102, and those characters got pretty punished. So I had to be very, very careful about how many mobs I pulled. So wait for friends.
Wait for friends. All right, sounds like a plan. Something. Well, maybe maybe we can group up once I get flying and run around together, power leveling.
Yeah.
See how it goes. But now we can do it with heirlooms starting tomorrow.
Yeah, so do you have heirlooms? Because you can't upgrade anything that isn't already an heirloom up to level 100, right? So
Right.
you
I
have to get all of your other heirloom upgrades up to 100 before you can get the Legion ones.
I believe I at least have 3 pieces of my cloth heirlooms upgraded to 100.
Yeah, I need to look into that because heirlooms is something that I never really did. I leveled all of my characters without them. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I've been playing this game too damn long, Jocelyn. If I'm going to level anything at this point, I'm going to cheat as much as humanly possible, short of paying money for a boost.
Well, yeah, the reason that I actually ended up getting into heirlooms is because when I was PvPing so much in Warlords of Draenor, I was constantly maxed out on honor, and so I was like, what can I buy with this currency? Like, I literally can't earn anymore because I'm just constantly at 4K. Like, what do I do? And so that's when I discovered heirlooms, and I was like, oh, hey, I could buy these. Nice.
Yeah, it's totally fine. And then we're also getting a lot of class changes tomorrow. Not going to go into it.
No, there's so many.
The stuff for Frosty K is pretty tame, with the exception of the widely accepted as the best artifact is getting nerfed pretty hard.
Artifact or legendary?
The items that you slot into your artifact.
Oh, the relics?
Relics,
the artifact trait?
Yeah. The blast radius is getting nerfed, but we're getting nerfs in we're getting buffs in other places, so I'm curious how well it'll balance out.
Yeah, Holy Pallies didn't get much changed, but Ret Pallies did, and Beastmaster Hunters, holy hell. They're big changes with Beastmaster Hunter. There's like all these blue posts, and they're like, yeah, we're changing this and this and this, and I'm looking at all the numbers, and I'm like, oh man, that seems like a huge nerf. Oh, but that seems like a huge buff. So it's been a while since I've played my Beastmaster Hunter, but I'm gonna have to give it a really close read because there's some major changes there that I think are gonna like fully change rotations. So yeah,
sorry, I'm gonna have to stop again. This damn audio bug keeps coming back, and I don't know what to do about it.
Stupid internet bugs.
Yeah. I'm going to take the stream down because I think it might be hardware. I'm going to have to tinker. Sorry, everyone.
Okay. Bye, guys.
All right. And we're back, I hope, for the last technical difficulty time.
Cross your fingers, guys.
Yeah. Hoping for the best. Hoping for the best. So, anyways, yeah. Any class changes that you're minorly concerned about with yourself?
Not really. Holy Pallies didn't get changed a whole lot. We had some of the relic changes, but nothing crazy. But yeah, Beastmasters got changed so much. I'm really gonna have to read up on that because I haven't played Beastmaster in a while. I switched over to Marksman because they just had better DPS, which makes me really sad because I was actually, out of all of them, enjoying Survival the most. But yeah, so I switched over to Marksman for ranged, and so I haven't touched Beastmaster in a while, though that's how I started the expansion. So they got a lot of changes, so I'm gonna really have to read up on all of that. But it's there's a lot of things to go and check out, guys, if you are doing any sort of serious content. It looks like there are some classes that got really big changes, so make sure you go in, check it out, and check your rotations, because serious stuff going on.
Cool. Well, you got your class mount.
I did.
On both of your maxed out tunes, or?
Just on my Pally so far. Only because I was trying to get concordance on my Pally for rating, so I wasn't really working too much on my Hunter. So I did get my Pally mount. I played through the quest line, obviously. It was pretty cool. It involved going back to Stratholme and then purifying a horse. So it was pretty cool. It was oh man, now I'm totally blanking on which character's horse it was, but it was the end boss of Stratholme. Anyways, you purify his horse and get your mount, which was cool.
Oh well, it used to be Baron. Have they changed it, or is it still? It's not still Baron, is it?
We didn't have to fight Baron Rivendare, but I think it was his horse.
Okay.
I think.
Cool.
So anyways, my problem with the color variations of the class mounts is that it's kind of like Artifact Appearances 2.0, And I got really, really lucky on my hunter with my artifact appearances because basically I just had from vendors versus like Rhett Pallies that had to go on this like crazy big long quest line, and you know some other classes were random drops off of bosses, and you know like hidden appearances were hard to get for some people and really easy to get for others. So with the class mounts, they've basically done the same thing where there's more requirements for some classes than others to get their different color variations. Pallies is one of them. And dude, it sucks.
Yeah, I really disagree with this. Like it was really, I think, extremely ill-conceived for artifact appearances. And why the hell are they bringing it back for class mounts?
Why did they double down on it?
I really don't get it. It makes no damn sense to me. I don't really have a comment other than who the hell thought this was a good idea.
Yeah, so I mean, so for instance, my Pally mount, all of my color variations are locked behind concordance, and not concordance once, but concordance on each separate artifact weapon, which is so much AP grinding. It's ridiculous. And we didn't even get that cool of a mount anyway. It's a horse. And so I have to do so much grinding, and then it's just to get color variants on the horse. And of course, the one that I like the most is the tank, and that's the one that I've put the least amount of AP into. So I'm like, oh man. So and rogues are in the same boat. They also have to get concordance on each of their individual artifact weapons to unlock their other tints. But then some of them, like I think warriors and shaman and possibly mages, are simply, they just change with spec. So you switch spec and all of a sudden your mount's a different color. And then like monks only have one color variation. They don't even have the option of different colors. So I'm just kind of like, why is this so unequal?
Yeah, I really don't. I don't get it. So that's not the case for Paladin. You don't spec into Rhett and have a red horse.
No, you have to spec into, or actually, sorry, no, you don't have to be in the spec, which is kind of the one good thing, is that you can have like the tank mount on your holy pally.
Right.
But you do have to essentially like earn the spec mount where other classes don't. But then other classes don't actually have the option of like cross, like their mount is the same color as whatever spec they're in. So you can't have like the say frost disc on your arcane mage. So I mean there are some perks to having it done the way the pallies are done, but I don't understand why everyone can't just like buy their mounts. Period. Like you unlock it through the quest chain and then you go to a vendor and get your different color variations if you want them. So
I don't know.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah. So basically, I have to go through and grind all the AP and get concordance on each weapon. So sad face. It's gonna take me a while.
Really awful.
Especially when I'm gonna have to get concordance for a spec that I am very unlikely to use. Like I'm interested in learning to tank, but
yeah. I mean, you don't have to. Like,
I don't have to.
Not,
it's cosmetic.
It's not required. It's cosmetic. Like, I actually think the Paladin mount looks really sweet. There's not a lot of well-textured horses in the game, actually. Like, you know,
the horse itself isn't bad, but I will say it looks really weird riding it as a holy pally because my weapon is a gigantic hammer. Like, this thing is huge, and it's strapped to my back. And then the pally horse has another big hammer strapped to its butt. And I'm just like, they're like, right, because it's like, there's a book on one side, a shield on the other side, and then the hammer on top of the saddle. And I'm just like, okay, I already have a giant hammer strapped to my back. Why is there also one strapped to my horse?
I can't help you there, Jocelyn.
I know. It's weird.
I don't know.
And Skande is saying paladins get 3 separate mounts for achievements. It is 4. So there's the one that you get as like the default coloring. I think it's the golden mount for doing the quest. And then there's the 3 color variations that you buy from the vendor.
Yep.
So it is different. They are separate mounts. But then, like, so, for example, the warlocks, they get separate mounts. You have to have Power Ascended, which is unlocking Concordance, but you can do it on any weapon, and then it's 1,000 order resources for the color variation. And then their other color variation is 100% drop for Warlocks from another boss. So it's just like that. Like now, my boyfriend Matt is a Warlock and has all of his color variations, and I'm like, damn it!
Well, I don't have any because I don't feel like doing that achievement for a less cool looking Frostworm, in my opinion. So.
Well, and yeah, so did you do your DK? You haven't done it yet.
No, I don't. Yeah. I mentioned before, I don't care. I
know, but I'm only asking it because I have had multiple people in multiple platforms tell me how amazing the Death Knight quest line is.
That's cool. Shame it's locked behind a really dumb grindy achievement.
Yeah.
I'm setting my ways.
All right.
Get off my lawn. Get off my lawn, grindy Legion, stupid stuff.
Well, yeah, I don't think that there's any other reason to do all of the Broken Shore questing without, or like the weekly stuff that you get from Khadgar. I don't think there's anything else. Like, you don't have to do that to attune to Tomb of Sargeras. I think you can just walk in now that it's unlocked. Right. So really the only reason to do that achievement is to go and do the class mount questing. So
right, and it's I don't know, just gating, man. I'm so over gating. I'm so over it. Like I get it.
But it's not gated free anymore. Everything's just available now.
the mount quest is still gated behind the achievement, isn't it?
Oh yes, it is. I meant like getting the achievement. Like you don't have to wait week to week. You can just go and do all of the achievement quests now if you wanted to.
Yeah,
but
it's still gated behind a grindy achievement.
Yes. Oh yeah, the achievement itself is very grindy.
Right,
yes.
And that's kind of the point I'm getting at here. And this is where like I feel like the WoW team is like, oh, but there's so much content. I'm like, there's not really. I have to do the same content over and over again to get to this other piece of content. And they're like, oh, well, we added so much, but it's just spread out between classes. Yeah, but you also have to grind a living shit out of the game, and I don't want to do that. So, yeah. I don't know. Call me a snowflake, call me whatever, but good lord. They're really making you like squeeze every last little bit of juice out of this freaking lime.
Yeah, 7.2, and we've talked about it so many times, but I mean, I think it would be different if it was along the lines of the Nightfallen questing that you had to do heading into Nighthold.
Yeah.
I was like, what's the name of the raid we've been doing for months? Because that, I would argue, is actually an important story that does lead to the raid, and, you know, I think people should experience that. But when it's just like grinding for the sake of grinding, they could have just had the Broken Shore quest lines as one thing, and I use quest lines very loosely, and then had the class mount just open with Tomb of Sargeras. Like, if they really didn't want people to have their class mounts early, then they could have said, okay, they're going to be available once Tomb opens, or they could have said it's available once you get your flying. Then you can go and get your class mount. Like, that would have been fine too.
Yeah, because
that at least was a rep grind. Like,
I want to see the quest more than I want the mount. So I don't care. I don't even care if it's like still lock them out behind the grind, but let me do the quest. But you know, if I still have to finish the achievement to get them out, that's fine. Let me see the story stuff.
Yeah, do the quest stuff, and then just have like a quest in your order hall that you can't turn in until you've reached whatever, till you've gotten the achievement. That makes sense. Yeah, I like that.
That would really quell my annoyance with all of this. But again, I realize I'm one of these weirdos that kind of puts story at a premium and everything else kind of at a I don't honestly care all that much kind of rank. But yeah, I don't know. There's been some chatter on our YouTube being like, you know, folks that disagree with us on certain levels, and I realize I'm like I said, I'm a bit of a lore snowflake in the way I the way I rank certain aspects of WoW. But I really disagree with the points made by the WoW team on 7.2 having a lot of content.
and that's fair enough, right? Like, everyone's experience in World of Warcraft is different, and they can't always appeal to everyone, so
yeah.
Your feelings are perfectly valid, Garrett.
I stand by my belief that they used to let us achieve the same thing through various courses of play a lot better in previous WoW expansions.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, let's move on to the meat of the show. But before we do, I do want to give another shout out to our Kickstarter. We're doing our Embrace the Spoilers Kickstarter. It's moving along for a new season of it, which means we'll be covering the next season of Game of Thrones. And if you would like to support that, head on over to bit.ly/Embrace the Spoilers if you want Joce and I spoiling Game of Thrones in your ear. And also check out some of those stretch goals, which means we'll be spoiling even more things in your ear.
Summer movies. We're going to go back to the original Indiana Jones trilogy. It's going to be a lot of fun, providing Kickstarter successful, of course. So, if you guys want to see more Embrace the Spoilers, then head on over and help us make that happen.
Yep. We're about to hit the halfway mark through our campaign. So go check it out if you haven't already. And also go look up Embrace the Spoilers if you want to listen to past episodes, including ones where we spoiled the 5 leveling zones of Legion, which is where this damn podcast came from.
Exactly.
And also, if you're one of those people like, why are they so into lore? Just go listen to that and you'll understand, you won't be surprised anymore. You shouldn't be surprised anymore. If listening to this show, where usually the meat of the discussion is around lore, wasn't already enough to kind of make you realize that we're really into WoW lore. Okay, so we're continuing on with Order Hall campaigns this week, and we're going to be talking Demon Hunters today, which is one of the ones that I know nothing about. Well, I do now because it's spoiled because I had to prep for this episode. But going into this, I knew nothing about, and once again, here we are. I want to kind of level a Demon Hunter now. I was going to say, so have you actually started a Demon Hunter? Yes. I've gone through the starting quest twice. Once on Alliance and once on Horde. Just because one time I was playing with Katie, and another time I was just doing it by myself. So when you create your Demon Hunter, you go through the battle on Mardoom, which is really cool. And that's when you choose whether you're going to be a tank or a damage dealer. And you also choose a follower that does kind of change a little bit of what happens in your order hall, which, as far as I know, this is kind of the first instance that we have of kind of like diverging paths depending on what you choose to do in your order hall. Yeah, so the end the end sum is essentially the same.
It is.
But the flavor is very different, and I like it and don't like it simultaneously. Like I like my Warcraft lore to be written in stone, so it rubs me the wrong way in that regard. Like, this is not Mass Effect, even though Mass Effect didn't reward us for any decisions we made in the end because 3 was awful. But like, this is Warcraft. Like, Warcraft 1, Warcraft 2, Warcraft 3, World of Warcraft. It's all very. There's nothing left to interpret unless you go and watch the Warcraft movie where they made some really weird decisions on changing the lore. Like half of the race of Corona, for example. But so that's I find strange. But like I said, really at the end of the day, it's kind of played for flavor and less for like outcome. So I'm okay with it, and I think it was cool, especially when I got to that point. But let's stop beating around the bush and just get right into it, Jocelyn. Where does the Demon Hunter campaign begin?
Well, so basically the Demon Hunter campaign actually starts kind of at the end of Burning Crusade, and the creation of the Demon Hunter class and your new character is kind of tied into the whole experience of the Order Hall class campaign. So you are part of the Illidari, who is Illidan's personal fighting force. You're sent to Mardoom to recover the Sargeras Keystone, which is a skeleton key to all Legion worlds. But when they get back, obviously, Illidan has been defeated. And so all of the Illidari who return are captured and sent to the Vault of the Wardens by Maiev. They are meant to be imprisoned there forever, but then Gul'dan arrives with the Legion and steals Illidan's body. So at this point, Maiev goes, crap. I wasn't able to stop Gul'dan from breaching the vault. So I'm going to release all of the Illidari because I am going to need their help in order to save Azeroth. So Maiev releases everyone, and then you kind of play through this scenario of escaping from the vault and trying to chase after Gul'dan. So after you do that, after you escape, Gul'dan gets away with Illidan's body. You actually use the power of your weapons as a demon hunter to open a permanent gateway to a Legion ship that you captured through the Battle of Mardoom. And this Legion ship is called the Fellhammer. So you're not only able to open a portal with your weapons, but you're also actually able to activate all the ship's controls because your weapons previously belonged to two characters. So it depends whether you went damage or tank. But two characters that are going to come up a little bit later in the class Order Hall story, the Fell Souls, Karia and Verendis. I feel like it should be Verendis, but there's no N in it, so.
Veridis.
Veridis, thank you. So your weapons previously belonged to Legion Lords. They bear that mark, and so since you have these warglaives, you can activate the controls on the ship. So this grants the Illidari and their allies access to all kinds of resources on the ship that were previously inaccessible, including a Nathrezim forge used to create very powerful Legion weapons. This probably sounds very, very familiar to the way many of the class Order Hall campaigns start, where you get access to your Order Hall. So your Order Hall as a demon hunter is actually this this Legion ship, which is pretty cool. It looks very similar if you guys have done invasions, like that layout of Legion ships that everyone's kind of been to. That's what the Order Hall looks like. It's pretty cool. And then all of Illidan's old allies, so the Ashtongue, the Coilscar, and the Shivara, pledge allegiance to the Illidari cause and help choose the first of the Illidari to become Exalted Champions to spread the Order's power beyond the Fellhammer. So just really, really briefly, where all these allies came from, if you guys remember, the Broken in Outland, who were led by Akama, were the Ashtongue, who ultimately betrayed Illidan.
Yep.
But the Ashtongue who were on the Fellhammer were part of the force that went with the Illidari to Mardoom, so they didn't actually know that there was any kind of rebellion or anything happening. They didn't know what happened with the defeat of Illidan, so they remained loyal to the Illidari. You also have the Coilscar Naga, who are the last remnants of the Naga that are loyal to Illidan, who were formerly led by Lady Vaj. Then you have the Shivara, who are led by Matron Mother Malevolence, which is a super cool name. And the Shivara... Sorry, what?
Triple M.
Triple M, yeah. The Shivara are the kind of those really, really tall, lots of arms demon ladies that you saw like when you first arrived on Hellfire Peninsula.
Booty
they were
arms.
Walking around.
Booty arms.
There you go, booty arms.
Yeah,
yeah. There's a lot of booty.
There's a lot of butt cheek going on there.
Yeah, which they actually joke about a few times through the course of the Order Hall campaign. Like, she says things to the Demon Hunter, like, my eyes are up here. Like, which is pretty funny.
There's a certain point in height where you can't really get that angry. It's a lot of effort to look up that high.
Exactly. So the Shivara, their story is actually really funny. They joined the Illidari cause on Mardoom, so they weren't actually part of Illidan's forces back in Burning Crusade, but they joined the cause on Mardoom because they found that Sargeras' goal to end all life was just a bore.
I love that.
Like, there's a lot of really cool fun things to do in the universe. Why do you gotta destroy it? We're kind of not on board with that anymore.
God, I love that that's a thing. It's so great. Yep. It's so fantastic.
So... Continue.
I was segueing, but you were segueing. We got it's a segue crash, which would look really lame if we're talking about the two-wheeled balancing vehicles. Anyway, so continuing on, a strange report comes out of Fellblaze Ingress, which we can't get away from this damn location over the last 2 weeks of lore discussion.
There's a lot of crossover between a lot of the locations that we've already talked about and the Demon Hunter campaign. I feel like they pulled from a few of the same, like Niskara's going to come up and Fellblaze Ingress comes up. It's all battles against the Legion, so yeah. I'm not really surprised that we're constantly going to the same locations, but it makes the timelines a little bit screwy. Yeah,
it does. Anyway, so this report comes out of Fellblaze Ingress, and it states that, is it Razalik or Razalik? Like, how do you pronounce this
Razalik,
one? Razalik. Okay, Razalik the Defiler, who was previously killed in the Blasted Lands, has returned, but is acting strangely. He's killing other demons and calling himself Lorimus. And if you are not familiar, and this goes all the way back to vanilla World of Warcraft, Lorimus was a demon hunter, a night elf demon hunter, who sacrificed himself to trap Razalik's soul, vowing to fight him in the next world. And I'm not joking. This goes all the way back to freaking vanilla. This was like the only demon hunter you could find outside of Outland. But it wasn't until Cataclysm that he took on Razalik and subsequently died. So the Illidari are then able to bring Lorimus, bring him while trapped in the Dreadlord's body back to the Fellhammer, but he remains in a prison because both Lorimus and Razalik are struggling for control. Though over the course of talking to him, Lorimus seems to be winning most of the time. So their souls are intertwined within the Twisting Nether, which is so rad, where they remained until a new body formed and they were expelled from the Nether, summoned by the Burning Legion in the form of this Dreadlord that we captured. Lorimus provides the Order with all of Razalik's demonic knowledge and helps the Illidari upgrade the Fellhammer.
Which I think has got to be like the coolest mechanic that we've seen so far for upgrading your class hall, because this guy essentially becomes the one with the tech tree for your order hall and you get to choose the options. But just the explanation of this, like going all the way back to vanilla and pulling a character that you know if you played through the quest line to the end of the Blasted Lands, and then, you know, like saying like it's a good guy who also knows all the things the bad guy knows because they're sharing a body, so he's going to tell us all the secrets, and the demons in there going, no, not my secrets. I love this idea. It's my favorite flavor on the class hall upgrade kind of mechanic that we've seen so far through these order halls.
Yeah, mine is just a random troll death knight who's just like, yo man, what you want?
Yeah, and I think mine is the same. It's kind of like random paladin dude who I think his name is familiar to me, though I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it's kind of like, oh, he knows the most about the Order and Lights Hope Chapel, and he will therefore make it better. And I'm like, yeah, okay. But this is super cool. Yeah. You have to go capture a demon, imprison it, find out that he's actually an ally. Like, so cool. So after you kind of gain the help of Lorimus on the Fellhammer, Mother Matron Malevolence has a plan to contact Illidan's soul in the Twisting Nether, which involves a spell that requires some demon blood and some other items to work. So the demon hunter goes off to collect those things, and then together they make an offering. And Illidan actually appears on the Fellhammer in front of the demon hunter, and explains that Akama was in charge of the campaign against the Legion, so he alone knows all the details of that campaign. So Illidan tells the demon hunter that the help of Akama is going to be required in order to defeat the Legion. He also tells the demon hunter that they have to recover the Sargerite keystone in order to invade the Legion's worlds. It was last seen with the Wardens after they captured the Illidari, who returned from Martum, so it is somewhere with the Wardens on Azeroth. Yay! How convenient. And finally, Illidan passes the leadership of the Illidari to the Demon Hunter because they're essentially speaking with Illidan's soul, and he is trapped in the Twisting Nether, and he's trying to evade the Legion. So if they try to contact him again by doing the same ritual, then it's going to essentially reveal his location to the Legion. So this is the kind of one and only time that demon hunters are actually able to talk to Illidan, who was their leader, but he has now passed on that leadership to the demon hunter hero.
And that's all fine and good, but now we get back into old school stuff that makes Warcraft fanboy Garrett excited, because it's time to get Akama involved in this. So Malevolence has a plan to reach Akama. He has basically locked down the Black Temple with a holy barrier following a warlock break-in by the Council of the Black Harvest. So
if you guys aren't aware, the Council of the Black Harvest is actually it's what turns out to be the Warlock Order in Legion. But prior to that, the Council of the Black Harvest was actually how the Warlocks did their whole Green Fire quest line.
Yes.
So, they had to actually like go in and figure out how to harness the power of demons, and that turned all of their fire spells into Fel Fire spells. So after they broke into the Black Temple, Akama was like, "Oh hell no!" and just went like, "Holy barrier!"
Yep. Anyway, Malevolence's former paramour, Landalak, has become a mage in the Kirin Tour, and she is sure that he can help. Landalak agrees and provides a book to the demon hunter after chasing an imp through the streets of Dalaran to recover it. Because who doesn't want to chase an imp through the streets of... This
looked so silly. So we're actually past the point now of the Demon Hunter campaign that I've played. I think my Demon Hunter's like level 104 or something. So we're now, I haven't actually played this part, but I did watch, again, thank you very much to Nobble for making all of these Order Hall videos, because they do help us very much when we put these lore segments together. And watching him do this segment, I was just like, oh my god, this is the worst. It's this stupid little imp with this stupid little book, and you catch him and he teleports somewhere else, and it's basically just to get you to use like your demon hunter abilities, because you have like the dash and the fly and to get to these different spots, which I guess now is much easier because everyone can just fly, or well, everyone but Garrett. So
shut up. Tomorrow.
It basically makes it a whole lot easier now to complete, I think. But basically, you're just chasing this little imp all the way through Dalaran until eventually he gets tired of running, drops the book, and takes a portal and runs away. Like, it's very almost like chasing the treasure goblin in Diablo. Like, that's kind of what it reminded me of, but more annoying.
Yeah. Annoying. That's the best thing in Diablo. Oh man, we're never playing Diablo together ever, Jocelyn.
Okay.
If you are not filled with vigor the second you hear a like in the long distance in Diablo and just drop everything. All right, sorry. Back to Demon Hunter lore here. Anyway, so you recover the book from the imp, and Malevolence is able to create a gateway to the summit of the Black Temple with the help of this grimoire. So the Demon Hunter, along with the Ashtung, Illidari, and Malevolence, head in there to confront Akama. And Akama then threatens all of you with death this time instead of imprisonment. And then, depending on which companion you chose at the end of your basically your starting scenario, the confrontation goes one of two ways. If you chose correctly and went with Altruist Sufferer because he's a badass that dates back to frickin' Burning Crusade,
which is actually really funny because he seems to be like not the canon choice. Like everywhere else if you're not a demon hunter, the person that you see is Cain Sunfury.
Well, then Blizzard made the wrong choice.
Fair enough. I think the idea behind the canon is Cain is basically, when you make this choice, Altruist is saying, Illidan's wrong. We can't do things as like any means necessary. Like, we have to be better than the demons. And Cain is like, no, we have to follow Illidan's vision. The only thing that matters is defeating the Legion. We do have to use any means necessary because that's what they're willing to do. And so you then have to make the choice of who your second in command is going to be of the Illidari. So I can see why they would want the Illidari to follow, like, as canon, to follow Illidan's kind of path. I can see why they would make that canon choice.
No, I disagree. I disagree. Altruist is the better choice. Anyway, so if you picked Altruist, Akama is like on board. He's a fan of Altruist because Altruist stood up to Illidan and left the Illidari during the Burning Crusade. So Akama is convinced to help the Order against the threat of Azeroth, as he believes because of the choice of Altruist as your second in command, that the Illidari shows their willingness to change and not just to blindly follow Illidan.
I didn't even realize that I put that pun in there.
I love it.
I'm so funny, and I don't even realize it.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. So he joins willingly and comes in and joins you. However, if you picked Cain Sunfury, and I get it, guys, I'm a Blood Elf fanboy, but Altruist is just cooler. Akama refuses to aid you. and he's forced into service as you rip the shade from his body once again, and the shade of Akama comes and joins you to help.
Right. So either way, you get Akama's knowledge, which is what Illidan wanted. But yeah, you basically like beat Akama into submission until he can't resist, and then Alari the Soul Eater goes and rips his shade from his body, which is all of it. Was a boss in Black Temple, right? And you defeated it to free Akama. And Illidan had been using Akama's shade because that was like his essence, basically. And if he had killed if he had done something to the shade, I can't remember exactly. It was detailed in the Illidan novel, and I'm blanking on the exact specifics right now, but basically he was using the shade of Akama to control Akama by threatening to do something to it, which would then destroy the Broken. So all of his followers would essentially die if Illidan did something to the shade. So Akama was forced into service. That way, we freed him by killing the shade, or I guess returning the shade to Akama's body. But now we're as demon hunters ripping it out again.
Right.
So he has no choice but to help, basically. So
which as much of an altruist fanboy as I am, the fact that if you went with Cade and you basically make a new shade of Akama, like that's the biggest Burning Crusade like fan service I could ever hope for. So that's really cool too. Whatever the case is, a version of Akama returns with you and your party to the Fellhammer.
Right, and then so once you get there, the Illidari actually receive a message from Karya and I've forgotten already. Veridis.
Veridis
Belsel.
is how Veridis is how I've been pronouncing it. I don't know if I'm right.
Basically, the pair promise great power to anyone who joins the Legion and great pain to anyone who refuses the offer. But basically, the Demon Hunters ignore the message for now, and the Order focuses on the second part of Illidan's instructions. They're being very loyal followers, and they head out to find the Sargeras Keystone.
Can I just interject? Can I have a mildly perverted interjection? We're hanging out with like a mistress of pain malevolence. I think we'd be okay with a little bit of pain.
Yeah, you think so?
Like we're hanging out with like a major dominatrix, essentially. So.
Oh man.
Just
it makes you wonder about that Kirintor guy. What's he into?
He knows how to party, is what I'm saying.
So they head out to find the Sargeras Keystone, and in return for killing specific targets, the new leader of the Wardens, because at this point in time, Maiev is still missing, and Cordana, who, I guess she defected at the end of Warlords of Draenor, but anyway, so Sira Moonwarden tells us where we can find it. So Sira reveals that Warden Malice was, which I thought was a kind of a funny name for a warden. But anyways, Warden Malice is the last warden in charge of safeguarding the Keystone, and she can be found in Stormheim. But unfortunately, she's been captured by the Vicrul, who are loyal to the Legion. So these are the ones under God King Skovald. So his Vicrul guys. The Demon Hunter tries to free her, but a jailer appears yelling that Kil'jaeden has ordered the capture of the Demon Hunter. So after defeating the jailer, setting the warden free, and defeating the Fell Lord that Malice was set out to capture in the first place, she reveals that the Keystone has been in the Vault of the Wardens all along and was next to Illidan's corpse.
Merely a key setback.
Yes. So by touching the stones on the platform in just the right way, the Keystone will be revealed. So basically now the Demon Hunters have to go back to the Vault of the Wardens, which was their prison for, 20 years or so. How much time has actually passed since the end of the Burning Crusade?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's not like every time you get a new expansion, like it loads in and it shows a year.
Yeah,
it's pretty vague.
So anyways, it was their prison for some amount of time since the end of the Burning Crusade.
Yes.
But unfortunately, Cordana Felsong, being one of the wardens, knew where the Keystone was. She has stolen it, but the Demon Hunter is able to retrieve it after taking revenge on her for turning so many Illidari over to the Legion. So you finally get your revenge on Cordana Felsong, who played a very key role. Basically, a lot of the Demon Hunters are, since they're so close, like they are kind of I don't want to say half demon, but they're part demon. They basically absorb the soul of a demon in order to harness its power. So they are very, very close to the demonic burning legion. So the legion is trying to convert them as opposed to just outright killing them, because Kil'jaeden and the Fell Souls and everybody, they give the demon hunters plenty of chances to change sides. And it's not until basically the very end of the Class Hall campaign that they just say, okay, fine, that was your last chance. I'm just going to kill you now. So, yeah, Cordana has been responsible for turning many Illidari over to the side of the Legion. And so the Demon Hunter is able to finally take revenge and kill her and get back the Keystone.
And it's like twofold, right? Because the Wardens have been after Demon Hunters forever. They've always had an issue. Yes. And now you've got this, like... She was a warden, but now she's also an agent of the Legion, so it's just like, you, as a demon hunter, you really want to take her down.
Hate her.
Yeah. So, and this is cool too, because it adds like an extra bit of like lore flavor on top of a dungeon that everyone does. But if you're a demon hunter and you're paying attention to this, it makes going up against Cordana that much more impactful.
Yes, very much so.
Which I am into as well. So, with Cordana dead and the Keystone acquired, go back to the Fellhammer, and you place the Keystone into the ship's navigation system. The Order sets its sights on locating Karya and Veridis Fellsoul on whatever demon world that they are using as a base. Alari, God, these names, the Soul Eater, questions some demon prisoners and discovers that the Fell Souls are hiding out on, you guessed it, Niskara. We're going back, ladies and gents. In order to reach Niskara, the ship requires souls to run, like all Legion constructs, and basically anything Demon Hunters ever do, because they gotta kill people. So the Demon Hunter goes out to defeat powerful beings all across the Broken Isle to use as fuel for the ship. This is wonderful. This
is basically their reasoning behind sending the Demon Hunter into dungeons. So you have to go beat dungeon bosses to steal their souls because they're the most powerful beings, and they need to fuel your ship.
Basically, you know how our cars nowadays are basically running on dead dinosaurs. Imagine dinosaurs were still alive when we go out and kill them to fuel our cars.
There you go.
There you go. There's nothing else that there's no other process in between a dead dinosaur and gas, like time and becoming oil or anything like that.
No, nothing.
Anyway, just as the Order is about to head to Niskara, Kil'jaeden himself appears to threaten the Demon Hunters. This appears to be our last chance to join the Legion as Demon Hunters, to finally, come to our senses, obviously, and join the Legion. And as Kil'jaeden disappears, he says that Karya and Veridis will deal with us. And we're just like, crack your knuckles, sharpen your glaives, and get out there. So the Fellhammer completes the jump to Niskara. Sadly, Chewbacca and Han Solo are nowhere to flip any of your hyperspace levers, but whatever the case is, the invasion begins. The Illidari fly down to the surface. They kill lieutenants as they go, and they finally make their way to Karya and Veridis. Using the power of the ship, the Demon Hunters are able to bring down the Fell barrier, standing between them and the Fell Souls. Kil'jaeden appears once again, basically amused by the battle between the Illidari and the Fell Souls.
He basically doesn't even care who wins. He's just standing on the sidelines watching the battle going, all right, death and destruction.
At a certain point, you bust out the popcorn, right?
Exactly.
You go over to the microwave, you microwave a little bit of that green goo to get it all buttery, and you pour it over your popcorn, you sit down and enjoy the show. Anyway, so as Karya dies, she pleads with Kil'jaeden to save her, but he does not intervene. And then when Veridis falls, he asks to be brought back once again, but we know that neither of them are going to be coming back because they died on a demon world. So
yep, so they're dead.
Yeah, you're double dead, as Oogie Boogie would say to Jack Skellington. Kil'jaeden leaves, content with the idea that the Illidari will die with their world. But,
which I find kind of funny. You literally have all of the Illidari in one spot. You're Kil'jaeden, you could just kill them, but he's basically you're beneath me, and then he just leaves. So it's kind of funny because I think this is the Order that's had the closest connection with the most powerful parts of the Burning Legion, because I know many other of the Order halls that we've covered so far have basically dealt with lower level dreadlords and still powerful foes, but not they haven't talked to Kil'jaeden.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting that the Demon Hunters literally could have been wiped out, But the reason they weren't is Kil'jaeden was just kind of like, meh, you'll die with Azeroth. And then he leaves. And I was like, that's a little bit like, I mean, you can't have a fight against Kil'jaeden because he's going to be a raid boss. But I feel like there should have been a little bit more to it.
Oh, I 100%
somehow.
agree. I mean, the reason he does it is because these are playable characters and they can't die. Yeah, it's an MMO.
Yeah.
But then why even write it this way? Why have Kil'jaeden show up in the first place? Or if he does show up, why not have you make some type of harrowing escape where you hold him off and get back on the ship and punch it, Chewie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I would have much preferred that as well. It was a very anticlimactic ending, I think, for, like I said, one of the orders that has the closest contact with like the leaders of the Legion. So I would have liked to see a little bit more come out of that. But
yeah,
overall, like I think there were some really cool parts of the Demon Hunter campaign. So I guess I'm kind of okay with this. But yeah,
you get to rip frickin' Akama's soul out to make another shade again. I'm happy, even though. If I go back and do it, I picked Altruist, so this wouldn't happen. But whatever.
So yeah, you would just talk to him. And
but then I get to just
have a battle against Akama.
But then I just get to hang out with Akama. He's just hanging out. We're cool. We're chilling. We're buds. But yeah, this seems like a misstep in an otherwise, I think, rather riveting Order Hall campaign. I thought this was really cool when I went through and spoiled it for myself. Anyways. You guys escape Niskara. The Illidari head back to Mardum to celebrate the fact that the Keystones had been recovered. Kil'jaeden was also defied, and a Legion world fell at the hands of the Order. Let's ignore the fact that Paladins and Priests also showed up on Niskara at some point, but...
Well, and this is why... So I think for, like, lore timeline-wise, the Paladins and the Priests showed up on Niskara, essentially released the prisoners, and then left to go back and defend Netherlight Temple.
They weren't there to drop the leaders that were there.
Yeah, so exactly. So then the Demon Hunters show up with their Legion ship, and when you actually play through this part of the campaign, you are controlling the ship and you are bombarding giant areas of the surface of Niskara. Like, if you were a paladin or priest and this was happening at the same time, you wouldn't miss it because it was just like fell bombs going off everywhere. So I think the paladin priest stuff happens, they leave, and then the demon hunters arrive to take over Niskara. And I mean, there might be other orders that have more stuff to do with Niskara. I don't know, but as of right now, it's the paladins, the priests, and the demon hunters that seem to be involved in this world.
Yeah. No, you're right. I thought it would have been fun if there was, again, another little reference to the crossover that was happening, but yeah. So we've got ships in we got ships in Warcraft now, Joss. My parting question: at what point? How long until we just straight up cross over with StarCraft?
Man, that would be so cool.
I'd be really okay with that at this point. Be very okay with it. Orcs in Space Marine armor. I can see it already. I can see it already.
See, and I think like Blood Elf Protoss, like, yes, please.
Ooh, yeah. They find out that just the energy within those crystals of the pylons just turns out to be another source of mana.
Yeah, and the Blood Elves can just harvest it, and then they become all buddy with the Protoss. Yep, I'm in.
I want the snooty Blood Elf voice going, "You must construct additional pylons." In the tone of, that would be stealing. Like, I really want to steal it, but it would be stealing. I love it.
Yep.
Well, that wraps up yet another Order Hall class campaign, Jocelyn. We get our title of Slayer, which is awesome, which just makes me want to listen to Rainblood constantly. And, I don't know. Getting heirlooms tomorrow. We're getting heirlooms. Maybe I'm just going to level everyone up because I want to see this stuff.
Yeah, and like we said earlier on when we were talking about leveling through invasions, if you want to group up and do some invasion content, then that would be awesome because I've been enjoying just the quick level boost really on some of my characters. Although, I don't know, I've been playing my druid and I'm just not loving it. I know so many people love druid, but I can't get the hang of it, I guess. Popping into different forms and doing different things, and yeah. It's not as straightforward as other classes, I think, as far as like specs go. It's like I can be a feral druid, but then I can still turn into both a bear and a like casty person. Like it just, yeah, I don't know. can't wrap my head around it really. I think I need to talk to an actual druid player and be like, WTF druids, right?
Yeah, druids are pretty low on my interest level.
My shadow priest though, oh man, she's so fun. Oh god.
Yeah, I think that might be the. Although I want to not have as much crossover between you and I because we both done paladin, but my priest is my next one that's just ready to go. But I've always wanted a warlock, so maybe that'll be next. But the mages.
And I will never touch a warlock, so.
Okay, maybe we'll do a warlock, but you live with a warlock, so you've also kind of had that experience. But whatever the case is, the thing I would like to do eventually, if you and I seem to go on an alt spree, is we need to take you through the alliance. That's what needs to happen.
I actually agree. I need to see that side of the story, and there are a lot. Actually, we have an email that we're going to take next week that I had to do a little research into because I've never done Alliance. So basically talking about what to do as Alliance as a player who is normally a Horde player, has never played Alliance. Like, what are the like Alliance-specific zones and, you know, the other sides of very Alliance-themed story. And looking into it, I was kind of like, yeah, actually, I kind of want to know these things. And I might actually play through as a Worgen because I feel like they're my most hated Alliance race because of the Sylvanas Greymane conflict. So I feel like if I choose an Alliance race, although Worgen came in so late into the game, I still feel like maybe that's the Alliance race that I should play as because that's where I have the most to learn, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I would recommend it just because their starting area is amazing, and it also has a crossover with your favorite race, the Forsaken, and you get to see the other side of the conflict. Yeah.
So, and that's kind of key, I think, to a lot of the cool Alliance zones is basically like seeing the other side of the conflict.
Gilneas itself is so freaking cool. I mean, you basically get to see it in a little bit in Legion because you have the Worgen town outside of Blackrock Hold, and those are models lifted directly from Gilneas. But the capital city itself is amazing, and I'm really hoping at some point that they get it back, that they do a patch update, and it's no longer under siege, and the Worgen get to return to their home because it's just such an awesome capital. It's like it's right underneath Silver Moon. For please God, redo this for me.
Yeah. So the Braden's Book, the people who live in Braden's Book are Gilneans, but they just left before the curse of the Worgen took over, basically.
Exactly.
So
because they're not Worgen, they're just British.
they're not Worgen, but they are Gilnean.
Right.
They just they aren't cursed. So
they're pre-cursed Gilneans. Mm-hmm. But they still have the very fun accents. So
yes.
At some point we should do that. So, anyways,
maybe I'll start one today. Why not?
Maybe. Oh Lord, no, I don't. I could be convinced after I eat after this episode to go and do some invasions on an alt.
Cool.
But
I don't know if there's one up right now, which is kind of the problem with invasions.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, then maybe I'll just go grind chests to get enough things to hand in so I can get enough rep to get my damn flying mount. Maybe that's what I'll do today.
Yeah, you need flying.
Whatever the case. Whatever the case is, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. We'll take some emails next week. This went a little long because we had the 7.2.5 to talk about and technical difficulties. And it is now lunchtime, and I am hangry. So let's put a bow on this. Don't forget, folks, if you're not already subscribed, I don't know if you're catching this on Twitch or you're on YouTube and you haven't actually followed the channel, do so. We're also on iTunes, Google Play, everywhere podcasts can be found. And if you haven't checked out the YouTube, it's youtube.com/AMoveTV. We're also at twitch.tv/AMoveTV every Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Or you can catch us live virtually on just about any device, thanks to alphageekmedia.com. Joce, where can folks find your work?
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch. I'm at Joce Plays, but you should also follow, if you haven't already, the A-Move channel on Twitch because we are doing all of the Gamers In E3 coverage. We are doing our kind of live commentary, all of the different presentations. So Kristen join us. She helped us out with Microsoft. Kyle joined us for Bethesda last night at midnight. Today we have Ubisoft in a few hours, and then we also have Sony tonight, and Garrett is going to be joining Ryan and I for that. And then we have Kyle again tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific at noon Eastern for the Nintendo event. So lots of really cool coverage, lots of neat stuff. So come and check it out. We are streaming over on twitch.tv/amovetv.
I'm going to try very hard, by the way, to get a wild Katie to appear tonight, because chances are very high that we're going to see some Last of Us 2 stuff. And my wife is not a gamer. She played Vanilla WoW, played Burning Crusade, played a ton in Cataclysm. Hasn't played much since. Big Zelda fan, but A Link to the Past is her jam. But The Last of Us might be her favorite game of all time.
Nice.
So I'm going to I might hook up my iPhone microphone to the laptop and just chill on the couch with some bourbon and force Katie to do some gaming commentary, which
perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
So you guys might actually get to see Katie for like a sit-down podcast thing instead of being behind the scenes all the time. I'm excited. Yeah, pull her in.
So that might happen. That might happen. She also might tell me, go away. I don't want to be on camera. That might happen as well, but we'll see what happens. Folks, I'm on Twitter at GarrettArt. 2 R's, 2 T's in Garrett, 1 R, 1 T in art, because I guess it needs to be specified. I've got a graphic design portfolio at nomoonart.com. Every other podcast I do can be found at amove.tv. I would like to mention my car podcast that I just started up, doing it twice a month, called Mostly Car Stuff, where I talk cars with my buddy Octane Pro. He used to do the Twitch stream on StarCast back when Twitch just got started and I didn't know what I was doing. And now he's talking on a microphone about cars and stuff. So I have a feeling we'll actually be talking video games on the next one, because Forza and Need for Speed.
I was so sad that we didn't have you during the Microsoft show to actually talk about that, because we were all three of us were sitting there going, we're not really racing game fans. This looks really pretty. I wonder if Garrett could explain why all of this car stuff is super cool, since he does lots of car stuff now.
Well, Forza, in my opinion, is the best racing game currently being made, and Need for Speed is the entire reason I ever started giving a crap about cars back in the Underground 2 days, where I was playing that on my GameCube. So I'm a big fanboy of both those series.
Cool.
Tonight we might get some Gran Turismo things, and I can't help you there. I never got into Gran Turismo.
Well, but at least you'll have a little bit of a racing game kind of mentality. We look at it and go, but where's the blue shell?
It's considered, I mean, Gran Turismo is just kind of considered by many to be the end-all, be-all of racing sims, and it's been a long time since we've had a proper entry in the series, so people will be losing their minds if we get any info on the next Gran Turismo.
Very cool. So if you've enjoyed this back and forth, then make sure you guys tune in tonight. I believe it's 9 p.m. Eastern for the Sony conference, so don't miss it.
It's going to be a good time. That's going to wrap it up for this episode. And I just, real quick, For Azeroth audience, you guys are really nice. You keep leaving us 5-star reviews on iTunes. The emails we get, the YouTube comments, just there's a lot of love for this show. That's different from the other podcasts that we do. And it feels special. Maybe just because it's new. I don't know. But thank you. It means a lot. This is one of the smaller shows we do in terms of ratings. So hearing that there are fans out there that are very passionate about the content, it means a lot. So thank you all. And keep it coming. It fuels us through the 1 or 2 randomly mean things that we see every now and then. So thank you all very much. Until next time, good luck. Have fun. And I'm going to get flying. I swear to God, I'm going to finally do it. Get off my back.
You'll get there eventually.